Hello, my name is Aeden Lebron, and my presentation is on the American entertainment company Lionsgate. I gravitated toward this company after seeing the name on so many shows and movies that I've watched and enjoyed over the years, while never knowing exactly what their role is in the process. This presentation will explore what the company is and their standing in the current media market. Lionsgate is a large entertainment company that has branched out to encompass many smaller companies in many categories of media, such as movies, TV, and even video games. You've probably seen their logo before in the opening title sequences before some recent popular movies like A Quiet Place, for example. But their origin started back in the late 1990s. Let's start out with how the company began. Although it is based in the United States now, Lionsgate originated in Vancouver, British Columbia, in Canada in 1997. The company was started by Canadian businessman Frank Giustra. His previous connections from being a bank CEO, along with the investment capital, allowed him to merge with the Beringer Mining Company, which was on the Toronto Stock Exchange, and take the company public. Beringer was a mining company, but its mining assets were sold off after the merger, and all resources were redirected into reforming and rebranding the company into Giustra's vision of an entertainment company. With this goal in mind, Lionsgate began buying up a few key smaller Canadian movie and TV production companies and studios to get into the entertainment business fully. Their first major acquisitions were the purchases of Cinepix and North Shore Studios, along with Mandalay TV. These early purchases grew the company quickly and set the framework for the different specialized areas that would form in the company later on. The growth that resulted from the acquisition of Mandalay TV also opened the door for the company to eventually be added to Amex, or the New York Stock Exchange as it is known today, for more exposure after its first year in business. In this first year in operation as a publicly traded media company, Lionsgate ultimately had reported a loss of $397,000 on a total revenue of $42.2 million. This overall loss in the first year, although not out of the ordinary for a new and ambitious company, is what promoted Giustra and the shareholders to make the move to the New York Stock Exchange to gain more awareness in the United States. This move, coupled with box office successes, helped to expand Lionsgate's presence in the United States into the 2000s. Lionsgate, as we know it today, is a large, multifaceted media corporation headquartered in California. Its main line of business is through creating media content in the form of movies, TV, and games to sell to viewers through various distribution networks. For movies, the target is theaters and streaming platforms, while for TV is various networks. Lionsgate owns Starz, which is an on-demand distribution network, which they can put content on directly as they please without needing to pitch it to another company. As mentioned previously, Lionsgate as a company is divided into subcategories for different types of media pertaining to movies, TV, and video games. These companies are called Lionsgate Films, Lionsgate Television, and Lionsgate Interactive respectively. This division of sectors within the company allows for more specialization within the departments and a smarter allocation of resources specific to each department's needs. This format is the company's own form of product differentiation within itself. One of the most helpful aspects of having branches in multiple forms of media production is the ability to access different customer bases. Through its subsidiaries, Lionsgate is able to cater to customers in those three markets under one large umbrella company by creating different projects in the TV, movie, and gaming sectors. For example, Lionsgate Films could be working on an action movie like the Hunger Games series, while Lionsgate Interactive could be working on partnering to release movie-related content in games like Fortnite. Although there are similarities in the movie aspects of these ventures, and there may be some crossover in fan bases, Lionsgate as a whole is able to target different audiences simultaneously through its three divisions. This gives the company more diversity in audience. However, this is not always the best thing for a company, as it creates potential for more than one project to go badly if it doesn't sell. It is not uncommon for a film or show to go over worse than anticipated with the general public or critics. Another hazard for a media company like Lionsgate, aside from the possible risks of juggling many projects, is competition from other similar, in some cases bigger and more established, media companies. Some prime competitors for Lionsgate are MGM, Universal Studios, the Walt Disney Company, and Sony Pictures Entertainment, to name a few. These are well-known and successful companies whose films and shows compete with each other for attention from consumers. One barrier to entry in the media market is having the capital to invest in making high-budget productions to compete with the studios mentioned before. Lionsgate has this ability and started early on, which it was able to carry on to today. However, the streaming industry is changing this by creating a new form of competition in the form of original productions. Companies other than the big media giants, such as Netflix, are creating films using capital from their own revenue streams, creating more competition for companies like Lionsgate. Specifically, Lionsgate's financial performance has fluctuated quite a bit in the last 3 years. According to income statistics data obtained from Morningstar.com, Lionsgate reported an operating income of $72 million in 2017, $309 million in 2018, and $208 million in 2019 at the end of each fiscal year. This was better than 2016, in which the company lost $25 million. This pattern indicates a steady comeback from the loss and relatively low incomes reported in 2016 and 2017, respectively. That dip in profit could have been caused by a combination of factors like increased competition from other media companies and the original film and show streaming boom, leading viewers to flock to sites like Netflix and Hulu for their original content. The bigger picture sees a decrease in overall stock value and profits from what was seen a few years ago in 2015. According to overall industry data obtained from Box Office Mojo, Lionsgate's market share in 2018 was 3.3%, which was down from 8.0% in 2017. This accurately reflects the operating income stated earlier, and both numbers are relatively impressive, seating them in the top 10 in the film industry as a whole. They were beat out by other major competitors like Warner Bros. And Universal, who hold significantly higher market shares, although it is important to remember that those are bigger overall companies. So what does all this data mean? Given the rise and fall nature of profits over the last few years, Lionsgate doesn't seem to be able to create a meaningful increase in profits over time moving forward, especially compared to their high performance in 2015. This isn't great in terms of longevity of any company, especially with the media market and technology changing the way it is. It can indicate a lack of ability to adapt to the future. If Lionsgate wants to start a positive trend and increase their profits, they need to adapt to the changing times of today. However, that is more difficult than it may seem. The choice to either stay a part of the popular streaming networks like Hulu to get their shows and movies seen, or to break away from proprietary streaming networks is something many companies seem to be facing. It's something Lionsgate needs to look at as an option. Lionsgate could attempt to utilize their Starz network, which they acquired in 2016, to innovate their business model. If Starz was to change or add a streaming platform for Lionsgate exclusive content, it has a chance of competing with the streaming giants. However, many companies have been doing similar things lately, so it could end up being a part of a saturated and fragmenting market, with only their catalog of movies and shows to motivate viewers. Another option for Lionsgate, which I believe could be the strongest, is to put more focus and resources into their gaming division. It's the smallest of their 3 main subsidiaries, but it could become more popular if they devote to creating full-fledged original games. Right now, it is largely focused on connecting its movie and show and characters into games that are existing in the form of additional content. It could be fleshed out into a full-scale game production studio to make it more popular. Lionsgate Entertainment Company is, overall, a powerful force in the modern media market. Since the late 90s, they have been putting out movies and TV shows that have been popular, award-winning hits with audiences, and have grown significantly through acquisitions over the years. Rapidly evolving technology and changes to the way we take in our media present a challenging environment for any media company today. If Lionsgate can continue its legacy of successful films while innovating to meet the needs of tomorrow's media customer, they'll remain a force to be reckoned with in the industry.